The big stories is what we'll start with. But before I reel out the big stories, do remember, or maybe if you're a first-time listener, the 3 o'clock hour, like I already mentioned, is for the big stories. The 4 o'clock hour, first the business news, then we'll have a conversation, a wonderful conversation like we did yesterday. And then the 5 o'clock hour would have the news update, and after the news update, we'll talk something very important yet again. And maybe I can give you a glimpse of what the conversation, or the hint of what the conversation will be like. You remember yesterday Obasanjo said that we have had empty leaders since inception. We'll talk about that. But we'll not look at it from the angle that a lot of people have looked at it from. I'll tell you how this is important, the conversation. So you stay tuned. That's what we will have, the 5 o'clock hour. But for now, let's start with the big stories. And what do I have on the menu for today? The first big story: subsidy pain. Labour talks tough. ASUU protesters condemn relief plans. You can find the story on the Punch. I mean, I took the headline the way the Punch put it. Subsidy pain. Labour talks tough. ASUU protesters condemn relief plans. In another newspaper, I did see the TUC saying it does not trust, it does not believe in the plans, the economic plans by the presidency. Who else has realized that we don't hear the word presidency a lot, in this administration? Maybe when the ministers are here, we would talk about presidency, but that's by the way. So reading from the Punch, I just want to quickly read from the Punch. Like I said, the headline: subsidy pain, Labour talks tough, ASUU protesters condemn relief plans. So the groaning occasioned by the removal of the fuel subsidy grew louder on Monday as the Nigerian Labour Congress said it was ready to fight the economic pains and hardship caused by the federal government's decision. Also, university workers under the aegis of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, the University of Lagos chapter of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Congress of University Academics, and protesting members of the Edo Civil Society organizations lamented the subsidy removal and its attendant pains. The varsity unions decried the situation, saying the subsidy was unintelligently removed. Woof. So you get the gist, but this is where I'm coming from. When I think of this story, what can the labor unions do? ASUU, NLC, TUC, the protesters, even NANS. I can't remember what they were complaining about. But what can these people do? What can they really do? I'm of the opinion that if they should embark on a strike like they did during Goodluck's administration, they will deepen or worsen the economic situation or reality for a lot of Nigerians. And the federal government can then argue and say, see, we have more money now at our disposal to make things happen. You want things to happen. You want the universities to work. You want better welfare for workers. We can do that now, given the amount of revenue we now can generate since we no longer pay subsidy. And by the way, there are reports now that NNPCL has now been able to remit for the first time in 8 months to the federal government. So I don't know what you think about this story, but I know I didn't read all of it. You can go read for yourself. But the question I'm having in my head is, what can the labor unions do? The TUC, NLC, all of them. What can they really do? Moving on to the next big story. IGP reaffirms the withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs. Now, I know we treated the story on 2 different occasions. The first time I came and I told you that the IGP has ordered that, police escorts be withdrawn from VIPs and ex-governors. And in that story, the former president's wife, Aisha Buhari, I think was somewhat affected by it. We saw some other governors who were listed in that memo. And then I remember asking the question, what happened to the other ex-governors? Was it being selective? And then the next day we saw another report that said that the first report was a lie. It was not original, was fake, did not emanate from the appropriate authorities. But today there is the headline on one of the newspapers, I think all of the newspapers, I do not know, I saw it on one, and that report says the IGP has now reaffirmed the withdrawal of the police escort from VIP. As a matter of fact, that the process is ongoing. I think this is a good idea. I don't know what you think, but I think this is a good idea given the current security situation and architecture in Nigeria. And you see, we need as many police officers to be safeguarding our society, internal peace and all of that. We need as many. We can have them protecting the few, the politicians. We can have them doing that. Anybody who feels like he needs protection should get private security and all of that. However, this is not the first IGP we're having in Nigeria, and this is not the first IGP who has made this kind of order. As a matter of fact, we've had so many orders from IGPs, and we barely see these orders carried out by the foot soldiers, right? The people on the streets, the people on the road. Which brings us to another conversation, which should be how cumbersome is the police structure in Nigeria? How cumbersome? Because we have orders coming from above, but it doesn't trickle down, to the grassroots police officers. We've had, series of donations given to the police, but it looks like it's always, maybe if it trickles down, it stops somewhere in the middle. But hey, what do you make of that story? IDP reaffirms the withdrawal of police escorts from the VIPs. Now, to the next one, we mentioned it briefly yesterday because it was part of our big stories. EndSARS mass burial. EndSARS mass burial. Amnesty International calls for independent coroner's inquest. So yesterday, I told you a story. It was reported in several newspapers, several of the dailies, that 103 EndSARS victims who died will be buried by the Lagos state government. A mass burial will be done for them. And about 61, is it million now? Is it million we talked about? I can't remember now, but we talked about it yesterday. Was going to be used to bury these people, and I showed you how bad my mathematics is, as some of you helped me to solve how much it will take for one person. I think it was 61 million, and then some of you said it was going to be 500,000+ to bury one person for a mass burial where there will be no funeral service or any of those funeral rites. Anyways, this is Nigeria. I mean, digging the ground will cost you that much. What do I know? Inflation everywhere. Anyways, the argument was that there was, some people saying that I thought we said nobody died, or I thought we said just a few people died. About 2-3 of them died, entirely in Lagos. So how come it got to 103? Some people are asking. Others are in support of the government, saying, see, I don't know why you're making a noise out of this. This is not a big deal. You're making a storm in a teacup. This is just, different parts of Lagos. People died as a result, and they listed, I don't know Lagos too well, but they listed the different parts where these things happened. And by the way, you should also take note that this was made public as a result of someone leaking a state government memo. Or else we probably wouldn't have even known about it, and they would have done the mass burial and spent 61 million naira. I still have a grouse with that, but that was for yesterday, so we're moving on. So do you think Amnesty International call for independent coroner's inquest as an autopsy or autopsies because there are 103 to be done on the victims. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because some people are saying Amnesty International is just being sentimental. Amnesty International is just being parochial in thinking. They're not being objective. But let's move on. Court grants Emefiele 20 billion. Not 20. Is it billion? No, I need to check that. But court has granted him bail. Yeah. They've granted Emefiele bail. But you see, the channels was reporting earlier, I saw that on their website, that the DSS was looking at rearresting Emefiele even after the court had granted him bail. It's 20 million, not 20 billion. I think I made a mistake while I was writing that. So 20, if you're watching on Facebook, please, apologies. It's 20 million and not billion. So he has a 20 million naira bail. And there's also a report that the DSS attempted to rearrest him. And when some reporters who were at the court premises looked at the charge sheets, it still carried illegal possession of gun and ammunition. And then I'm wondering, was it not a few months ago, not so far away, December 2022, that the DSS took Emefiele, or was it Emefiele that took the DSS to court, one of it, and there were the arguments at the time, and there were reports that he was charged for sponsoring a terrorist group. And I'm wondering, what's happening now? What happened to that charge sheet? Or is it that they did not take into court? I'm trying to remember. Okay, anyways, I'm moving on. But that's what it is. Court has granted Emefiele a 20 million naira bail. And then in my head, I'm thinking, where is Abdul Rashid Bawa? Why is nobody talking about his own case? Why is he also not, thinking of going to court to argue whether he can be released on administrative bail or not, being how popular he is? Okay, moving on. Senators demand apology from Oshiomhole over looting comments. Senators demand apology from Oshiomhole over looting comment. Now, I would encourage you to read this story because it's very hilarious, I should say. I think the story is on The Punch. I got that story from The Punch. So go check it out. When I come back from this break, I'll tell you a little bit about the story. Just stay tuned.
Welcome,
All right, 29 minutes gone past the hour of 3. If you're just joining us, better late than never. I'm Kalada Kurubatipo and you're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Yes, we've gone through some big stories already. Subsidy, pain, labor talk stuff. ASUU, protesters condemn relief plans. You can find that story in the Punch newspaper. Go get it. IGP reaffirms the withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs. Now, hashtag NSAS mass burial. Amnesty International calls for independent coroner's inquest. And court grants Emefiele 20 million naira bail. So I was just telling, other listeners about the story where the senators are demanding apology from Oshiomhole over looting comment. Remember Oshiomhole, and I think we talked about it yesterday. He was on, Channels TV on Sunday Politics on Sunday evening, and he made a couple of comments. And one of those comments was that the lawmakers from the Ninth Assembly, the Senate and then the House of Reps, said they would I call it collected or should I call it stole? I should use the word stole because when you collect something that is not yours, then you've stolen it. I think he was making reference to the need for the 70 billion for the renovation or for the working condition of new lawmakers or lawmakers generally. And he mentioned in that interview, I'm wondering how I missed that, by the way, but Oshiomhole said that senators and House of Representative members of the nine, including ROGS members. Now, the reason the senators are asking for an apology is that, some of the 10th National Assembly members were also part of the 9th National Assembly. And so they are saying, hey, how dare you call us thieves? But when you collect something that is not yours, what does that mean? I'm not calling anybody a thief, but I'm saying when you collect what is not yours, or I'm asking, what does that make you? And it shows you the culture that we have in Nigeria, where someone occupies an office, a public office. It's not your person. It's not your even when you occupy a company and you have a board of directors and you have shareholders and you're about leaving that company, you don't take everything with you, right? Because you've got shareholders, you've got people who've got stake or who've got a stake in that company. But let's look at it. Almost everything there is done with taxpayers' money. I mean, is it not taxpayers' money they want to use now to replace some of the things, if at all they really want to replace? Oh my goodness. I don't know. You know what fella would say about this? International. Okay, I'm not going to say it. But 017 923 0002 is the first number to call if you want to say it yourself, if you want to say what's on your mind concerning some of the headlines or some of the big stories I've reeled out this afternoon. And then, of course, you can use that number, or you can use your other number, 0817 923 0003. That's the second number, so you can ring me right now, or better still, ring the studio and let's have a conversation. First number 0817 923 0002. Second number 0817 923 0003. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. Go there and go see me, watch me live, and drop your comments in the comment section. Or better still, you can tweet. I don't know what it's called now. Is it X or Twitter? I'm confused. But hey, we're live. We're active there as well, Nigeria Info PH, and we're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. You can also follow me on my personal socials. The number or the handle is Kalada, TheKalada. I've got Ikechi from Eneka. Ikechi, welcome. Let's talk.
Hello, Kala. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome on the show.
Yes. like to speak on senators' demand apology for Oshiomhole's comment.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you've heard that some governors, when they are leaving office, they would take the golden doors and the other furniture.
Okay.
In the state government house. Now, I do not see any need for an apology from Oshiomhole, because not as if I'm a fan, but there's an element of truth in many of these revelations.
All right.
And I sincerely believe that because of the multitude of kakistocrats that we have in our country, it has really made things to look like as if we are moving in an inebriated state. And it's really, really sad. Mr. Ifichi.
All right, thank you very much. I've got Frank from D-Line. Frank, greetings to you. Welcome on the show.
Yeah, good afternoon, Canada.
Yeah, welcome.
Let me dwell on a court grant Emefiele bail for 20 million. Calendar, I'm not happy this afternoon.
Why?
When I remember what Emefiele have done to me and other Nigerians, Emefiele should have been in jail for now.
Why? I mean, he's not been charged with anything, or rather, he's not been found guilty. That's the right way to put it. He's not been found guilty yet. So why do you think he should be rotting in jail?
Okay, Canada, this Emefiele who run to court now have once disobeyed court order when court ruled that the two currency, both new and old, should run concurrently. Emefiele refused to listen to Supreme Court, the apex court of the land. Today now it's in court, they should release him, do that. So what is passing through today is physical one. The spiritual one is waiting for him.
All right. Then.
Thank you and God bless you.
Oh my goodness, thank you very much. I've got AB. AB, welcome on the show. What's on your mind? 2 minutes. Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, AB.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
There is something you say that triggered me, that the court granted Emefiele bail for 20 million naira. Let me tell you something. That guy is a good guy. He worked for government for long. So, nobody can mind to leave that guy.
All right.
Let me tell you something. The thing that caused problem in this country is Buhari that caused problem. It's not Emefiele. There is certain thing you say something, you say, when you call that something that not belongs to you.
All right. You collect something. Thank you very much for your time, AB. I've got Wisdom from Buguma. Wisdom, welcome on the show. Welcome. Let's talk.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah, Wisdom, welcome.
All right. Senators requested apology from
Oshiomhole.
Adams, right?
Yeah, Adams Oshiomhole.
All right. I think the senators, the members of the 9th National Assembly, the senators do not have moral justification to request such apology. Going down memory lane, Senate committee investigated Ibrahim Maku, former chairman of EFCC. As we speak, no result. Senate committee investigated Professor Ponde of NDDC, former chairman of NDDC, who fainted on the floor of the National Assembly. Senate committee investigated Minor, who was allegedly involved in the pension fund of many Nigerians. Up to now, there is no cogent report from Senate.
What's your point?
And so, I'm not surprised that senators can cut away rough printers, television, as Oshiomhole alleged.
Okay.
Most recently, Obasanjo said Nigeria's conduct is a disgrace to Africa. My brother, I think we're in serious problem. May God help our senators and National Assembly members.
All right. Thank you very much, Wisdom from Buguma. I've got Harvest from Igoiche. Harvest, welcome. Let's talk.
Thank you, Canada.
Yeah, welcome, Harvest.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Emefiele court granted in 20 million naira pay. There's a parable of bed box that whatsoever that hot shall come to cool. I hope the case of Emefiele will not come to cool.
Okay. Whatever is hot will cool down eventually, I guess.
Because we have been seeing cases like this in this country now, just as the thing is hot now. That's why we are hearing this. After 1 month now, we will not hear the matter of Emefiele will be before bygone.
All right.
And this NSC, TUC, and whatsoever, whether ITC, all of them put together, what is their own option about what is really happening in this country? Where are we even heading to? That every day things continue to go up. The fuel price go up. Now the subsidy palliative that they wanted to do, they say they are not in support. And then they are not in support. What are their own solutions? What is the solution that they put that it should be the formula or method that they should use to disperse the palliative?
All right.
Now that they are kicking against the medium, the federal government or either state government or the next want to use. What are their own solutions? Because we see that NSC is one of the headaches that we even have in the country.
Oh, really? All right. Your 2 minutes is up. Thank you very much, Harvest. I've got to go to Hector, who's calling from Ugbogoro. Hector, greetings to you. Welcome on the show.
Good afternoon, KD.
Yeah, welcome. Your 2 minutes starts now.
IGP with affirm withdrawal of security personnel from VIPs.
Okay.
Right?
Something like that.
This news has come before, and the IGP later denied, and now he has affirmed it. KD, the question I want to ask is that these VIPs, do they pay for the police officers attached to them, the police personnel?
I would not know because I am not a member of the police, but it is suspected.
Yes, because I'm aware that they pay for the police personnel attached to them. So what is the effect if truly they paid for the police personnel attached to them? Then what is the effect of this order of withdrawal? Especially the politicians, the political bourgeois, they have plenty friends and plenty enemies. And I think they have more enemies. That is why they are scared. That is why they fear, even when they are heart of government, they feel, surrender themselves with heavy security personnel. The poor, the ordinary man does not have much to fear because he has less enemies. Let's see how this affects this order we do, because this is not the first time.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Hector. Your 2 minutes is up. I've got Charles, and Charles is calling from... Oh, my, I missed that one. James from LMA, welcome. James, good afternoon.
Well done. Good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome. Your time starts now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the senator cutting away all the items in their office.
All right. Some items. James, can you hear me?
They always I can hear you.
I said some items, not all. Chairs, TV sets, and carpet. Some items.
Thank you. Some items. They always like to think most of their, especially the first time comers, that they should apologize for it. What Adam Oshiomhole is saying is 100% right. Because if these are political office holders, they are so mean to a point that if they can hug palliative, then what do you think they cannot do about it? They rug and other things. So Adam Oshiomhole should not send any apology to anybody. They didn't want it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, James. I've got Clinton from Bori. After Clinton and then the next caller, I think I should do some messaging or messages. So, yeah, Clinton, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, Canada.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Subsidy removal, Labour talks tough, ASUU protesters on the related plans. And I kind of agree with what Labour is doing.
All right.
And the protesters. We all agree that the relief plans, the palliatives they have planned for Nigerians is not what we want for now. Because what we want for now is for price of commodities to return to normal. So I think Labour and ASUU should continue holding their ground. And the question and things will return to normal.
Clinton, before you go, the question I'm asking is, what options do they have? You said they should stand their ground. What ground are they standing on? What options do they have, please?
Labour Union in the past, there is their bodies that checkmate the government. So I think if they can go on strike,
do we
need? I think the Nigerian government will listen to them.
Do we need strike now? Do you really think we need strike now? Is that not going to be shooting ourselves in the foot?
Canada. Desperate times demand desperate measures.
Okay. All right. I'm wondering if this measure is not going to put us in more desperation. But thank you very much, Clinton. I've got Joseph from Bayelsa State. Joseph, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Canada.
Can you hear me, Joseph? Are you there? Hello, Joseph. Poor connection there. I'm sorry. I've got to let you go. This one says, was there any confirmation? I mean, the 70 billion that they wanted to collect, they said they wanted to use it to buy chairs and TVs and all of the stuff that they said they wanted to buy because, some of the lawmakers did not have those things in their offices. It was reported some time ago for the person who's asking, I think a Prince, I think that's how I'm going to reply your message. Let's see this one. So it says, good afternoon. Yet again, that's the same. Okay. Oshiomhole said the obvious truth, but it is a taboo for a Nigerian to state a truth to indict the upper class or political leaders. Adams just defaulted by revealing the truth. That's how Nigeria got Spa Igwe. All right. This one says, when you collect something that is not yours, that person is a big thief. All right, then. This one says, removing some police officers from the VIPs is a welcome development. The protection of lives should be their responsibility or their responsibility for all citizens. Ezekiel Isaiah. All right, thank you very much. This one says, it is better they disobey the courts and protest. If not, the masses will die of hardship. And NPC are remitting money. How does that affect the poor? Mr. K is asking. Mr. K means more money for the government to spend on development. And this one said, strike is the only language Nigeria government understands. Emmanuel from Gukana. Okay, if you say so. Entirely your opinion. But let's go to Facebook and see what comments we've got there. Akeku Lebar says, there is no labor in this country now. Tango Ability Atuegu says, so Adam Oshiomhole lied about the looting of carpets, laptops and chairs in his office. Subsidy paying, you said labor talk stuff. I beg, make labor rest. One midnight meeting with federal government, NLC president and its members will change language. Okay, if you say so. Alade Bakare Atere says, I bet you we cannot have a secure, free Nigeria devoid of corruption until all politicians who have implanted themselves since 1999 and have been recycling themselves till date are swept aside. And Lebari comes back and asks the question, why are they having security? Them are insecure. A wonderful question there. You can go to Facebook, drop your comment, live on Nigerian page, we're live on Twitter. Or is it X now? I do not know. I think it's X. They have changed the logos. So we are live on X, Nigerian page as well. X there. And that's what we do, right? When you say sweet for Twitter, X will be for, what do we know? All right, 01790-002 and 817-930-0003. Let's get your good stories to build out day. And what are these big stories? Subsidy paying more talk starve as protesters their relief plans. Remember, the civil society organizations in those states yesterday, the other protesters punch is reaffirms that the withdrawals from VIPs as material. Amnesty International calls for independent coroner's inquest. What grant 20 million naira senators demand apology. Oshiomhole over looting. So these big stories. Zion is calling from the welcome on the show. What's on your mind? Okay.
Labor is not into. It's like keeping a dead horse. Must we always protest? Very funny people, are we not the people that within this government? We saw this government was good. I thought it Lagos go to duplicate it. Then also, okay. So now I'm saying ungrateful, very ungrateful. I'm telling you, you say Lagos is coming to change. It's not the person we need. It's also now is in office. Less than 2 months you are complaining, asking labor to go on strike for what? And people are calling on labor to go on strike. If labor come on strike now, they will not be there. They'll be in their house. Some people hide under their wife's bed, tie a wrapper, they still complaining and calling on resolution, inciting people against the government. I'm not in support of this. For now, let us stay in. Get used to it. How many months are you going to die?
All right, thank you very much, Zion. I've got Robin from HA. Robin, welcome.
Kalada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Do you know that when we're talking about this strike that she got, there are persons who were staying in the past 1-2 months. They are trying now, like me.
All right then.
So when we're about strike, we could go on strike. National Assembly, they are accusing Oshiomhole, who has found his way to National Assembly, that is accusing them, that is looting. All that which he has said, that under him there, he was respected.
You want to respect.
Good afternoon. Robin,
thank you very much. I don't think I will show you on that one. I mean, he can argue, he's there to represent his people, but this is it now. I remember I talked about Emefiele not too long ago, and when I was explaining how I see the story, I told you that the DSS were waiting to rearrest Emefiele. Now I'm seeing pictures on God help me, is it X now or Twitter? But can we just go with Twitter for this, please? Can we? Thank you very much. So I'm seeing pictures on Twitter where the DSS and the correctional service officials, that's prison officials, were fighting. I can see one of the prison officials' shirt has been torn. They were fighting. Who's going to take Emefiele away? Oh, Nigeria, my country. In the picture, I see some DSS officials with their guns. I'm sure the officers not from their own agency. I'm wondering, because official is somewhat under security, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, imagine I didn't know anything. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, even the Guardian newspaper has tweeted, and it is DSS and operating of the correctional service struck to take us to Godwin Emefiele. The recorder has said he should be remanded in the correctional service, to call it, pending his ability to meet his bail conditions. We've got another commercial break. Maybe we'll continue the conversation. I do not know, but do stay tuned.
You've got big dreams, but you know it'll take hard work.